Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the one and only Jonathan from Convey Home Loans. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So your partner in crime is getting married this weekend. So all of us will wish
Yes.
Dustin and his bride many happy years together. Enjoy. Do you know where he's going on his honeymoon?
Tulum.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
I know
cool.
because it's on my calendar, and I see it on my credit card bill.
Very, very cool. Well,
Yeah.
Dustin, if you ever watch this, congratulations, man. I guess my wedding invitation got lost in the mail, but that's okay. I kid, I kid, I kid. But hey, you know what? Something, Jonathan, you and I got to talk about is something that Matt, the mortgage guy, and I have said much of this year that you reiterated, and I just wanted it again is if you like it, lock it. You know, what does that mean? Why is that important? And then we can talk about a conference you just got back from. I think people really need to understand what's going on in the mortgage market.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, if you like it, lock it is a very simple phrase to understand. It just means if you like the program and the loan and everything that the deal itself, you should lock it at the start. There shouldn't be right now. It's not a time to like before, maybe even a few months ago. It's like, oh, if we float it a little bit and wait to lock it later, it might be lower in terms of rate. Now it's
Let,
not like
let's
that.
let's talk about vocabulary because we're
Yeah.
using terms that you and I know that others might not. You know, this notion of float, right?
Yeah.
So you and I know what that is, but to the average investor, what is that? That basically is gambling
Hmm.
that rates will go down or rates will get better. That's what it is.
Correct. Correct. Float is that, but also sometimes it's the loan officer's fault, right? Whoever you're using, because
Could
they
be,
are
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
either they're trying to maybe capitalize on a little more on the basis points to make a little more money, or they're gambling to try to like see what they might have told you not everything up front, and they might have not given you everything up front, and so they're trying to make it up by waiting a little longer to lock because they're hoping the market will better. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people like that, right? So,
yeah. So let's poke
yeah.
at that a little bit. Let's poke at that a little
Mhm.
bit. So again, if you're an investor, you reach out to a mortgage broker. It's not Convoy because you're going to do the right thing. What would investor do? What is an investor to do or a home buyer to do? Do they act like how what has to happen to rate lock, or what's the right question to ask to get, because again, you can't just make a phone call and lock it. You've got to start some paperwork. Where is that process where a applicant could say, hey, can we rate lock today, or what does that look like?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a simple question. Hey, can you lock the loan? Right.
Or if
And
you
I think
can't, what do you need, right?
correct, exactly. But usually if you ask the LO, hey, can you lock the loan? It's a pretty straightforward yes or no, right?
Okay.
For a lot of non-QM loans, they sometimes have to wait till approval. Like
Okay.
they get underwriting approval. So, in that case, hey, can you make sure the loan is submitted ASAP so I can get it
Right.
approved ASAP so I can lock it, right? So, I think typically at the end of the day, it's up to the client. It should be, right? Because you locking the loan is locking the rate and locking your program. So you want to make sure, hey, can I lock the loan? Can you lock the loan? Can you find out how we need to lock the loan? When can we lock the loan? Right?
Yeah,
Those are all very questions, very important questions to ask.
I agree.
I think to every LO. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing you got to realize, I've been doing this a long time, and lots of people think about rates because it's kind of right in our face, right? The last 5 days have
Hmm.
just been crazy moves in rates
Yep.
up and down. But I've also seen lending programs evaporate, right? You could be applying for, again, I'm just going to pick on one that I know you have, a 40-year program. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the market could shift on you and suddenly you couldn't have any buyers and you can't deliver it. But again, so it's not only the rate, but it's also the program. You want to make sure you can get those locked. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, here's the thing is the market where it's at, especially in the non-QM world right now, the rates continue to go up, right? And even when conventional, and we kind of saw this in like June, but even when conventional rates are kind of taking a dip down, these non-QM rates continue to go up. Why? Because Wall Street is not wanting anything less than the current market, right? So and everyone's looking ahead, right? What's going
Yeah.
to happen, in the future, which is Feds are probably going to increase rates again,
That's it.
and the rates are going to continue to go up, and then everything's going to go into kind of like a stagflation mode.
Mhm.
And it is what it is. So the programs that exist now that we're already seeing changing. For example, high leverage programs.
Yep.
It's something you can actually pick on. 80%, 85%, 90%.
Yeah.
Those programs are already being a lot of pressure on to basically be gone. So like, for example, we have that 15% down program on DSCR, but the problem with that, it becomes then, 15% down is basically a 10% rate.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't even want
they're
to do it.
basically saying no without saying no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest like issue, right? So if you again like it, lock it so you can get it away and go for it, because a lot of these non-QM lenders, depending on who the lender is, and we're very careful with the lenders that we work with that we know can actually close and fund the loans. But if it's not someone that can close and fund a loan, or it's just a random non-QM lender, they don't have those commitments there. They don't have the liquidity there. You may end up just getting, retraded, like we've talked about in the past.
Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about is just came back from a mortgage event. I think it was called AIM. Talk about what you saw there. And really, I want to differentiate that event from a year ago, because I want people to realize it's always darkest before the dawn. And I don't think people realize what's going to happen next year. But let's talk about the event first, and we'll talk about why I think this is actually a good thing.
Yeah, so it's like AIM, it's called Fuse, but it's technically the biggest mortgage broker event of the year, which where all mortgage brokers from like everywhere gather up in a ballroom in Vegas, go through all these different, workshops and whatnot. But this time around, a lot more than half the room was empty. The ballroom was empty. Yeah. It was
That's not a good look. That's not a good look.
It wasn't. And here's the thing too, is because they had all this positivity stuff lined up, because they plan these things like a year in advance, right? So they had all these things lined up, but then as the date got closer, you could see the tonality change of everybody, because nobody expected rates to do what they did, the market to do what they did, literally at this point in time. So seeing everybody there and just they were actually, everyone was like they kind of looked stressed. They didn't look like, they were like, obviously they have this this conference high, and they're like, we just got back from this, but everyone's hurting is what I understood. Everyone's hurting really, really badly. The market is not pretty. They're really struggling. And I'm hearing a lot of brokers saying that they laid off 80%, 90% of their staff. They're down to like 5 people. It's really, really tough times. And obviously that is kind of a microcosm, I think, of the current market. Well, tickets to the event were $500, that people couldn't budget out $500.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. The Fed said pain was coming. The mortgage market, like it or not, is the tip of the spear. We've been talking about layoffs and cuts coming. Refi business is down 86%. Purchase demand down 15 or 16%. We're in it right now. I've been through cycles like this, not as a mortgage person, but I've been through up and down cycles before. I have good news for you. What you probably went through at the AIM event is kind of going to be the microcosm of the bottom. There will be some people that wash out that don't make it to the end of the year, and that's a good thing. The people that can make it into next year, because next year, what I see coming is rates will finally stabilize. The Fed is on a accelerated track to get back to whatever normal is. We're going to be there at the end of the year, maybe Q1, but then it'll just be flat. And what is that going to do? Well, Wall Street will finally stop freaking out. They'll start, okay, great. We got to normalize it, a 5% funds rate. Great. They'll know what to do. What Wall Street can't do is they don't like uncertainty, right? Is the Fed going to go to 4.5, 5? Are they going to break it at 6? They can't plan for that. So they just, like your DSCR loan, they'll just take it to 10%. So it makes no financial sense.
Yep.
So this is all good. This is a cleansing process. And frankly, the mortgage industry had a lot of bad operators who got addicted to cash out refis that weren't built for the long term. And, the business cycle is legit, and we tried to delay the business cycle for 15 years. We're here now. I think housing is next, right? If mortgage is the tip of the spear, real estate agents, real estate broke. We've seen what happened at Compass. Compass is going to be taken private. Their stock is so cheap. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is all good things. The strong will get stronger. The herd will be a lot smaller, and then we could just start focusing on helping people. So I'm encouraged by what's coming. I'm sure it is no fun to be in your position or your peers' position. I get it, but it's almost over. Once rates plateau, life gets immensely better.
Yeah.
So that's what I would tell someone in your space. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, there was a point that Matt Ishbia made when he spoke on his panel. It was, hey, now we're obviously we jumped up on rates. There's going to be opportunity now when rates drop a point, drop another point. So now it's going to be, everyone that was a 7 and a 6 or 8, and all of a sudden
Yeah,
now it's a 5, now it's a 4, and that's a real thing, right? It's not going to drop
absolutely.
like it did in 2020,
Yeah, you're
but
not going to 2.5. Yeah.
exactly. But now there's going to be opportunity for your deal to become an even better deal at a percent lower and lock it in for 30 years, or percent lower and lock it in for 30 years. So it's like, there's a lot of opportunity there coming as well. It's just right now is the pain.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm encouraged, right? So the pain in the mortgage market really started 6 or 9 months ago. It takes about a year usually to, people try to hold on, limp through, layoffs, all of that. It's almost over. This won't go on forever, right? Refis won't be down 86% forever, like you say. Eventually, it'll become a business to take the 8s and make them 7s, and take the 7s and make them 6s. It's just a cycle. It just happens to be a nasty cycle because the Fed kept rates too low for too long. Everybody, 80% of the loans are below 4. We just need time to go by, and housing
Yeah.
is next, right? Real estate agents, real estate brokers, appraisers, notary publics, title companies. Your time's next. It's happening right now. Transactions are going to go down 50% peak to trough. So get ready. So Jonathan, if somebody wanted to get a deal done and they want to like it, right? They like the rate, like the program. How do
Mhm.
they reach out to you?
Email private client at convoyhomeloans.com, and please let us know you came from more at.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.